What is good, everybody on YouTube? This is your boy, Akil McLeod, back with another live video. Make sure everybody can hear me correctly on here. I haven't gone live in a very long time, y'all. I don't know, it's been a few months since I went live, so bear with me as I try to adjust everything and get everything situated. But I just wanted to hop on here and just, start talking some business talk, give you guys some updates on what's going on with me and the business and my baby. And we could just talk, we could just chop it up. So I'm gonna let y'all slowly pour into the chat. But I was trying to set up my cam link because I bought a new camera here and I was going to start live streaming with that one. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So we just going to use this the webcam that comes on the MacBook. We just going to rock out with that. I was going to go ahead and cancel it, but I got to just stream. I just got to get going with it because if I don't, y'all just won't be seeing me. So I just got to force myself to get into it. You know what I mean? We got Nomad in the house. What's going on, bro? ATL Flipper, shout out to the ATL Flipper, my homie Derek. Shout out to you. Richard Gooden, what's going on? How you feeling, fam? I hope all is well. Becky Shep, hey Akil, it's been a while. Yes, it has. It's been a while, but I'm back. I'm back and I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like I need to lock in and really do some solid work here before the month is over. So I'm gonna try to, just stay as consistent as possible on YouTube. Vasquez Vintage. Hey, Akil, here to support. The hair is nice. Thank you very much. That's another thing. I got to keep it up. I got to keep these locks up. If I'm going to keep them, I got to maintain them. So I've been, trying to see my stylist, keep up with her, keep those appointments going on. But yeah, man, I'm just here. I'm just glad to hop on camera. So my last video, let me see. AT, how was your Thanksgiving? Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving. You almost forgot to say that. Derek, of course, how's your Thanksgiving? My Thanksgiving was good. It was just me, Dom, Sage, and one of our friends came over and he had dinner with us as well. So it was good. It was good to just slow down a little bit, connect with the friends and the family. And right after that, we was right back to it. We still had a couple left over, so I ate again yesterday. But I don't like to try to eat too much of that. The all that type of fatty stuff. Sometimes the mac and cheese is amazing. My wife does her thing, but you can't eat that stuff too much. I'm getting too old. I gotta watch what I eat. It's crazy when you get old. You gotta start watching it. But yeah, man. So let me catch you guys up to date in case anybody hasn't seen my last video. I was talking about student loan debt, and I've been talking about that for the past couple of weeks. I feel like anytime I drop a video, of course, it's always at the forefront of my mind, so I keep talking about it. But student loan debt is something I'm trying to get off of my back. I was pushing it to the back for a very long time, pushing it to the back of my mind, not really trying to be responsible with it. But it wasn't until I was trying to get this house that I realized that student loan debt, it could cripple you. It really can if you don't, take put it under control. So this year, 2022, I'm gonna make sure that I pay off those student loans in full. As you guys see, the eBay business has been doing well. I'm gonna do a video on that as well to kind of update you guys on sales and let you guys know what the sales are and what's actually selling right now. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on that because my sales this month have been pretty solid. This month I've been some long nights, been putting in some burning the midnight oil, as they say, but it's been paying off, so that's been really good. But the profits that I've been getting out of that, I'm gonna start really just being more intentional with that money and putting it towards that student loan debt. So for those of you that may have student loan debt, I'm almost I graduated with my master's in 2013. So I'm almost 10 years out of school and I'm just starting to like aggressively pay it off. And I think I could do it in a year if I'm really like intentional and I budget correctly. So for those of you out there that's in a similar position, man, you trying to either build up your business or you're trying to acquire some property or just live a little stress free, be a little more financially independent, get them loans off, y'all. Get them loans off. Don't wait around for Biden because you'll be waiting for a long time. We already waiting for too long, so it's just time to knock it out. Love that you're working on that student loan debt. We are going to do the snowball method to pay ours off. Probably still take 2 years for us to finish 80K. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with the whole, with the snowball method. That was my inspiration as well. Really, just to start with some of the smaller debt and then just let that funnel into the larger stuff. And my only real big debt is my is the our house that we live in now, but I'm not in a super duper rush to pay that off. I think that's what most people would call good debt. So I'm not going to be in a super rush to pay that off. It's only hasn't even been a full year since we've been living here, but that student loan debt, I've had that since 2013, and I had no intentions of paying that off. And for that reason, interest started to pile up, interest started to accrue. And the first payment I made was for like, I think $1,200 was the very first payment I made a few months ago. And with that payment, that was just interest. That just went straight to interest. My first two payments the majority of it went to interest. So that's just the tough part of it. When you're not responsible, you regardless of what they said, interest is going to be cut off. They're going to put it on a halt, so we don't have to worry about that. But once you start making any payments between now and January 31st, they want that money that's still owed to them. They still want that interest. So that was definitely a tough pill to swallow, but I had to get it done. So I'm gonna give myself a year. I think I can knock it out within a little faster than a year, but I'm gonna give myself some grace and say a full calendar year. Dave Ramsey's method really works. That what we used to do to get out of debt. Yeah, man. You doing real good with yours. You doing real good, bro. So if you saying Dave Ramsey method work, I believe it. But I mean, it's a fact. That snowball method really does work. But for me, it's just more so about, I don't think it was until I had Sage where I'm really like, okay, I gotta do better. I have to make better decisions, because it's easy to just, be irresponsible and just, we already purchased our first home, so we could technically just say, okay, it's no big deal. But we got big goals, we got big aspirations in this family, so I gotta lead by example. Gotta lead by example. Let's see. That's awesome, ATL. We use that method to pay everything else off. Now we are at the last one, but it's a huge one. Kudos to everyone who is knocking it out. Yeah, that's what's up. Because if y'all already was knocking out the debt and now this is the last one, you're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. It's just the little small credit card debt stuff and all those little things that can kind of put people in a bind. A lot of people using a firm and what's that other thing? A firm and something else, Afterpay, and they're putting themselves and they're messing up their credit. I mean, I don't know. Bless them. Bless them. How is fatherhood? Man, fatherhood has been amazing. I've been home, as you guys know. I've always been working from home for the past, in February, it'll be 5 years. So I've been home this whole time, but actually being home and just being able for both of us to really tag team everything, because it's just us. We don't have a ton of family and a ton of friends out here, so it's just us. But the fact that we've been able to, really provide all that nurturing and attention that she needs, it's amazing. Like I wish my childhood was like this. She's 3 months. She turned 3 months on Tuesday, and I wish my childhood was like this. Just being, having both parents at home all the time. I could only imagine what that's gonna be like for her as she gets older. But fatherhood has been amazing. Definitely the uh, best thing in my life, for sure, for sure. Big proud dad. Let me get me a big dad shirt, proud dad shirt. Have you considered refinancing your loans to get a lower interest rate? No, I didn't even think of doing that. I know they've been switching. My loans was at first was with like Fed loan, and then I think it turned into something else, and then it turned into Navient. Now Navient is going to be switching over to something else. So for me, I think the interest rate is pretty low. I think it's like maybe 1% or maybe 2%. It's a very low interest rate, but I mean, I doubt I can get it lower than what it already is, because it's not like I have like private loans that are like 10 and 15%. Because I've seen some crazy student loan packages that had crazy interest rates, but mine are pretty low. So I think for me, the fact that I already started, like, interesting fact, just a couple days ago, after I put up that video, like 2 days later, I got an email saying that I've lowered my interest, my student loan debt by like 18% or something like that, it said. And for me, that's crazy because I've just started making payments in August. So I'm excited. I think I'm making some good progress. And by this time next year, what is this, November? By this time next year, I should be done. I'll keep you guys updated along the way as I make, some big payments on there. But with Poshmark, with eBay, and with YouTube and any other side hustles that I pick up, which I'm gonna definitely pick up a few just in order to, make it really happen. Trust me, by this time next year, I'm gonna be giving the blueprint as opposed to just sharing the journey. But I figured I might as well like open it up and share the journey with you guys, kind of document it, make a series out of it on YouTube, because a lot of people are not trying to handle it. A lot of people are, waiting for, you know, somebody else to pay it or forgive it. And I hope that does happen, but I'm just gonna take control of it. At the end of the day, I know I took out those loans and I got that refund check, I cashed it, and I bought a car with my first refund check that I got in college because I needed a car. So that's what I did. I think it was like a $3,000 refund check, and I bought a car. So it's not to say I didn't use the money, not to say I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have to deal with like one of those really sketchy types of interest payments and stuff like that. One of those real sketchy loans like the Parent Plus. I don't have none of those. So all my loans was by my choice. So I can't even say nothing. Indeed, happy times, sad times, just enjoy it all. Yeah, absolutely. Even though, and the thing is, she's such a happy baby. So it's like there's very, very, very little sad times, very little. In the first couple of weeks, it was tough because of course it's a big adjustment for me. I usually stay up super late and get a ton of work done at night, but then when you're staying up late because of the baby, it changes everything. It kind of throws off everything, throws off your sleep pattern. But I mean, I love it, and she's getting so big, so it's only a matter of time till all this is a memory. How often do you do sell similar with your older items? That's a good question. When it comes to eBay, I do that every 30 days now. Like when an item is about to finish and it's like 5 or 6 days left, I'd make sure I stay on top of it. But then, eBay tells you when stuff are ending soon. Like it'll tell you in red, um, these 15 items are ending today. When it ends, I literally go through all of those and I cancel them. Like I end those listings and then I hit sell similar, and then I do that again. So sometimes I might change the prices. Sometimes I might go through the photos and add a better photo. Or, most of the time, as soon as I change the price and tweak the listing a little bit, like the title or the description, that's usually when the item sells. Because I usually everything I pick up, I don't really take risks on items. So most of the stuff I'll grab would sell within like sometimes 2 to 3 months. But a lot of stuff I get usually sells within about a week after listing it. So I just try to stay on top of it. And by doing that, that's what's really helped my business, like that sell similar option and like really staying on top, getting the chance to really do it. Is Sage helping y'all with the reselling business yet? I mean, believe it or not, she is. Like, she's the inspiration. Like, I know that first month, almost 2 months, y'all wasn't seeing me. I wasn't making any videos. Of course, I was really just putting all my attention and all my energy on her. But at the same time, I was using her as an excuse. I was slacking. Like, I can honestly say I was slacking. Like, if I had her in my arms, or if she was sleeping in the little carrier that I wear throughout the day, I would just sit there. And I've never watched Netflix that much in my life. Like I never sat and watched TV that much in my life. So that whole maybe I'm gonna give it maybe 8 weeks. That first 8 weeks, I was chilling. Like I wasn't even like I was still on top of eBay, still listing, still on Poshmark making some sales. When my videos went down, I only made like I think 4 videos in the whole month. Same thing this month, but the month of December, y'all gonna see me pretty often. I've already recorded a few videos that I'm gonna be posting next week. So I'm gonna be tweaking the schedule. I don't know what days I'm gonna do, but I'm only gonna be doing 2 videos a week. I'll try to go live whenever I can, but I'd rather just be super consistent and stick with like at least 2 videos a week, as opposed to what I was doing before. I was doing like 3 or 4 videos a week because I just had more time. So I think these next few weeks, I'll be recording, 2 and 3 and 4 videos in a day, just so that I can kind of get ahead. That way you guys will always get some good content. Same, bro. I use my son as an asset. Absolutely, absolutely. That's what you got to do. Because I told you guys before, like when it comes to inspiration and motivation, like I've never really like had to deal with lack of motivation. I've always been a really good like self-motivated person. But I think because we prepared for Sage so much in the sense of like financially, I really wasn't like, you know, I wasn't hungry because I knew we had money saved to handle the bills, and I was prepared to just chill out for a little bit. But once I realized, okay, I got to set some goals. The year's almost over. She's getting older, so it's not the same in the sense of like, she's just kind of doing her own thing some of these days where she's just chilling by herself. So I got to get back to it. Got to get back to doing what I do. You know what I mean? What else? What else did I want to talk to you guys today about? If you guys got questions, whether it's reseller questions, dad questions, whatever it is, drop it in the comment section. We'll definitely be answering all the questions today. Let's see. Are Amazon FBA courses worth paying for? Now here's the thing. This is the thing with courses, right? Courses are not a bad idea. It'll help you save time. It'll definitely help you save time because there's so much free information about Amazon FBA out there on YouTube right now that you could probably just watch a ton of content and be perfectly fine. But the thing with courses is that it condenses all of that information for you. And it just, whoever like creates it, as long as you have like, you trust them, they've been giving you game along the way, and they put together a nice course, it could be beneficial. I think it's better for those that just want to skip the fluff and just get straight to the content, like straight to the information. I was thinking of doing a course, but at that time I didn't want to be that YouTube guy. Because when I first got on YouTube, Ty Lopez and a bunch of other guys that was just like pushing courses, like at that time, that was the thing to do, sell courses. And they wasn't experts. They were just selling courses for the sake of selling courses. So I wanted to really, I never proclaimed to be an expert in this. I'm just kind of sharing my journey. So I never wanted to sell a course without feeling like an expert. At this point in time, I'm like, I definitely got my 10,000 hours in. So I could do a course. So that's why I'm kind of like, more supportive of it. But I think as long as you're getting the course from somebody that you trust and somebody you think can give good advice, yeah, like you said, check out Resell. He gives free advice on Amazon, and I know he's killing it. There's a few other people too that does some Amazon FBA stuff, but I was thinking about doing FBA. I have a bunch of books that I need to sell because I bought a scanner and I started scanning books, and like I seen that, it's kind of simple doing Amazon FBA. In a nutshell, you buy a scanner, you scan the items, you get one of those apps like Jungle Scout or Scout IQ, and it gives you the rank for what the item is. The lower the rank, the better it is, the faster it'll sell. And it literally like you basically plug in the information you want to plug in within the apps, and it tells you what your profit will be and all of that after fees and everything. So it's relatively simple. For me, I just haven't done it for no other reason than just, the lack of interest really. But I'm gonna get to it because I don't want to waste my money on them books that I got. But yeah, definitely I think it's worth it. Absolutely. Any advice on sourcing for good product to resell? Any advice on sourcing? So for me, I source from thrift stores. I don't really do yard sales. I don't do a ton of garage sales. I probably should because I know people get a lot of good stuff from those things. For me, it's just I'd rather just go to the thrift store. If the item doesn't work, I bring it back. You know, I just prefer doing that. But yard sales and stuff like that is a good thing too. But a good place to get stuff that I've been noticing is OfferUp and Craigslist, because there's people that selling stuff. Because I sell stuff on OfferUp. I sold some PlayStations on there, just so that I wouldn't get scammed with like people buying stuff on eBay, because not to say there's tons of scams on eBay, because there's tons of scams on every platform, but this happened to me 3 times in like 6 months, where I sold the PlayStation 3, and it was the fat version. So that one was selling for like $200. And I shipped it out, working perfectly fine, bubble wrapped it really nice. I got it, and the person said once they got it, they said it doesn't turn on. So that's an instant red flag for me, because I knew it turned on. I took pictures of it, everything. I get it back. I guess they may have took out the hard drive or something, but they completely just, changed everything in it. So for me, I'm just starting to sell things locally, but I'm noticing, like, say you do business with somebody locally, they might have, a whole garage full of stuff that they're trying to get rid of. So, I mean, you just got to try to test some different stuff out. You could go to Alibaba. That's another way, but just start with used stuff. Start with your closet. That's what's been working for me too. Let's see. So excited to see a new video. I think the break was well deserved. Can get burned out quickly with sourcing and everything that comes as a reseller. Absolutely. It's really, it's you could quickly become burned out. Quickly become burned out. And I think I needed that break. As much as I, push myself and I say I was slacking, I needed that break. Because for me, if you guys been following the channel and like the journey as a whole, we've moved around a lot. Um, I'm always trying to do something different, always trying to expand on whatever it is that I'm doing. So I was pretty burnt out. Like I needed that break. And I planned on taking a break. I didn't plan on taking that long of a break, but I planned on like really kicking back and just spending time with Sage. But I needed that break. So now I'm like motivated. The hunger is back. I'm listing 10 items every day again on eBay. And that's when I know I'm back to normal, when I'm listing consistently. Like once we get off this, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna come home, list, and by like 10:30, I'm gonna be in bed. Hopefully. 10:30, 12, something like that. Let's see. Do you always disclose to store employees that you're a reseller? No, I mean it's not hard to tell. Like most of the time, they just know because I'm always there. So if they see me enough times, they'll figure it out. And the good thing is that I mean, the big thing is that they don't really care. Like most people at the Goodwill employees and the thrift store employees, like people are talking about it being like a labor shortage, and everybody needs a job, and nobody wants to work. You can tell because the types of jobs that a place like Goodwill, they can't keep people. Like they're there for a few months and then they're gone. They're there for a few weeks and then they're gone. So I mean, some store employees might see me all the time, and then 2 weeks later, I don't see them anymore. So it's like it's tough. It's different. But the ones that do ask and they seem cool, I'll tell them. And then if they ask me, but I can see the energy's kind of off, I still say, yeah, I'm a reseller. I'm proud. I'm doing pretty damn good as a reseller, so I'm proud. I just know everybody isn't going to support it. Some people may be mad or maybe hating, but it's part of the game. Mary Garland, thanks. I watch every single video you drop. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's what's up. Definitely appreciate that. That's love. I think that was the only question I seen. But yeah, because the thing is, I remember when I first started reselling, I used to be very nondescript, and I would try to like make it like I remember I was nervous to pull out my phone. Like I remember people, I would think, oh, everybody's watching me. Let me not look up the comps on my phone. Let me try to be, as discreet as possible. But for me, trust me, I'm not gonna say everybody's a reseller, but reselling has become so trendy over the past couple of years that everybody's doing it. Like everybody's reselling, or if they come across something that they're familiar with, they some people may not necessarily know how to do it well. Like they may see an item and just Google the item and see what the retail arbitrage price is, or like what Amazon is selling it for, so they try to sell it for that same price. Not everybody knows that, but when I'm in the thrift store and I'm checking stuff out, I see people right next to me and they're looking up the same thing, or they're trying to sell sewing machines or keyboards and bikes. Like you see that all the time. So you see that all the time. Let's see. Can you do a vid on a storage system? Oh yeah, I could definitely do that because my garage. I'm not gonna say I'm super proud of my garage right now because my garage is not the best organized, but the system itself is really organized. Like for me, if I was to explain, like for instance, if I wasn't home and I told my wife where to find an item, she would be able to find it. And I think that's how you can really know if your system is organized. Just if somebody else that's not like attached to the business like that, if somebody else can figure that out. So mine is pretty clean, but it's simple. So I can do a video on that because I've been trying to think of just different video ideas outside of the trip to the thrifts and the what sold. I'm trying to think of different stuff to do. So I think that's a vid I can absolutely incorporate. Let's see. I saw a reseller video in which she stated her items are not specific to just getting holiday sales. That was such a relief because I agree. I want consistent sales, not just for December. Yeah, I mean that's the best way to do it. I agree. I don't think any of my stuff is like holiday related either, but I also don't. I think it's a good idea to source seasonally. Because during the holiday season, I sell video games and video game consoles all year round. But I kind of knew that, for the next, once fourth quarter came around, let's say like middle of September, I already knew a lot of those Wii's and PlayStations and Nintendo DS consoles that I had. Like I knew they was going to start selling now, and they did. So it's not a bad thing to kind of source seasonally, but it's probably best to have items that sell all year round, just so that you don't have those huge spikes in December, and then once January comes, it's super low because that's usually what it is. There's some people they make all their money in the fourth quarter, and then nobody's really looking for Christmas toys in January or February. By then, people are looking at Valentine's Day and just other stuff, other seasonal stuff. So I see both sides. Let's see the weekend. No debt. That's a fact. Never lack. Keep it stacked. 100 racks. I don't know what song that is, but I'm just a rapper at heart, so I could kind of flow it, but I don't really know what song that is. But I'm a rapper though, baby. Let's see. How do you deal with competition at the thrift? Just curious. So competition at the thrift for me is I know the same few guys that resell. It's the same few of them that they're usually there when I'm there because I'm usually there when new stuff come out. So we're always there around the same time. Um, we don't really speak. Kind of cordial, I guess, but I'm like that with everybody. So it's not tough. When new stuff come out, everybody's kind of like reaching and grabbing and trying to grab something up. But for me, I just always moved with the mentality that what's for me is for me. So it really doesn't matter what time I go or what day I go. I usually would always leave with something. So when by having that attitude, it helped me a lot to like deal with competition. But prior to that, I used to be a savage, and I still got a savage mentality in me, but I've just calmed down quite a bit because at the end of the day, we just trying to get money. And with the way how these donations have been in my area of Arizona, everybody could eat. Everybody. It just depends on, what you know about or what's your expertise. So for me, how I deal with it, I just, like anything else. What do you think of Poshmark offering electronics, and what should we look for when sourcing electronics? Oh, offering electronic. I think they've been doing that for a little while. I know they opened up their consumer good section up, like their consumer markets, I think a few months ago, or maybe even a year at this point. It's been a while. But I think it's good. I think it makes sense. I think most people I think Poshmark did a really good job in the beginning of marketing their company as, you know, marketing their company one to women, because most people don't even, most men that like resell, most of them aren't even familiar with it. Like a lot of the guys that I might meet, they're not familiar with it. So I know they kind of, Poshmark recognized who their I guess consumer is, or who their clients are, or who's going to be using the app most. They know they want women on there selling clothes, and they did a good job at that. So for them to move into other markets, it was only a matter of time. But at the same time, it's like, they got a long way to go still. And I'm sure they'll tell you that. Like they got a long way to go just in terms of getting the brand out there. Um, and whatever little kinks that they have, especially since there's so much fakes on their website now, it's ridiculous. But I mean, I think it's good. I don't list any electronics on there though. I only list electronics on eBay. Um, I only list clothing and shoes on Poshmark. So I kind of separated it, not for no real reason, but I just wanted it separate. We've been selling a ton of video games lately. Yeah, now is the time. Now is the time when people are buying up games. It's an easy stocking stuffer. So that's what people want right now. I'm actually might slow down on the video games because one thing I was just telling one of my homies today, when it comes to the games, I'll usually get it for $1, maybe $2, and then sell it for like 12 or 15. But after, the time it takes to, package it up and all of that stuff, sometimes I might get $5, $4. It's not really worth it, especially now. For me, time is everything. So that time being spent in the thrift, I mean that time being spent listing those games that have such small profit, using the packaging material for those same things, is I'm probably gonna start falling off with the video games. Like I'm gonna start putting caps to certain stuff. So if I do buy a game, it has to sell for at least, like, say, $20. That way I know I'm clearing at least $10 every time. So I'm gonna start adopting that mentality moving forward. Do you buy from liquidations? No, I do not. A lot of people was asking me about that. A couple people I met recently have asked me if I do pallets, but the pallet game is tricky, and I'm probably just not. I'm clearly not that good at networking because I haven't got a lot of plugs like that. But I always tell people when it comes to like the liquidations and the pallets and stuff like that, the closer you can get to the wholesaler, the better. The closer you can get to them, well, or the closer you can get to the actual brand, the better. Because by the time I usually see pallets, they usually done broke it down and took the best stuff out and maybe put something good on top, and then everything else is trash. So for me, I haven't been much of a pallet liquidation. I tried it, but it just didn't really work out for me. What is your must-have ROI on each item? I don't really. You see, that's a good question, and that's something I like I said with the video games. Moving forward, I need to create something like that, because what I would do before, why I even started selling cheap video games, was that I had the mentality of, okay, this game will sell for, $12. I bought it for $1 after shipping and fees. I'm probably gonna make $5. And if I was walking in the street and I saw $5 on the floor, I'm not gonna walk past that. So that was my mentality. But moving forward, it does. You still have to factor in the time that it takes to list that item, the time it takes to package and ship it out, and of course the cost of materials, because the poly mailer, whether it's bubble wrap or a box, whatever it is that you ship your video games in, you gotta factor that in too. So I'm just trying to be a little more intentional with this stuff. But moving forward, I think my ROI, I'm probably gonna stick to items that sell for, like, if it's a first class item, it'll have to sell for at least $30. And if it's something that's heavier and I know it'll cost me maybe 10 to $12 to ship, it'll have to sell for at least 40. Like, that's the mentality. But for a while, I didn't really think like that. For a while, I would buy an item that sold for 30, but it'll cost me 10 to ship it. So after shipping and fees, and most items I spend like $5 on. So after shipping and fees, I'm probably clearing $10. But $10 is $10. But I'm gonna start being a little more intentional. So when I say that, I mean, say the item is $30, but it costs 10 or 12 to ship, and it costs, $6 or $7 in the thrift. That doesn't make sense. That literally just doesn't make sense. And that's something I was doing for a long time. So I'm gonna just fix that. Great time to start picking up shorts and sandals, finding great items at a low price. Absolutely. Now is the time. Whatever summer stuff you could get, bathing suits, I know you could get cheap. Um, Anything like that, especially shorts. You guys remember, I had picked up like 100, maybe even 200 pairs of shorts from Dillard's when they was closing, and I still have some of those shorts. But I've made my money back a long time ago, and I still have maybe 20 pairs left. So if you can get it and have it available, you would do really well, because every season people want that stuff no matter what, even if it doesn't sell. And then the thing is too, I sold some shorts a couple weeks ago because people are going on vacations and traveling. A lot of people haven't traveled at all, with the pandemic, so now is the time to grab it up. How is your Ross? Mine is whack right now. I heard they were no longer going to carry Nike and Polo. I mean, I've been seeing on like Instagram, a lot of people have been finding good clothing, like good Nike jackets, good Jordan jackets, good jeans. Shoes have been slacking for sure. I think I've been seeing people get better shoes at Burlington. I think Marshalls is pretty dry right now too. But um, one thing that I knew that affected Ross and all those other discount stores was that um just a few, I think, right during the pandemic, a lot of those factories, they closed down, and they still haven't really opened back up, and they still haven't really recuperated. So since a lot of those factories are closed down, a lot of the shoes, like the excess shoes or the surplus that would go to the discount stores, there's no real surplus. Like, they're just going to the outlets, and that's pretty much it. So that's why a lot of these discount stores are suffering. But I mean, it is what it is. That's the thing with when it comes to reselling. One thing I've learned is that you kind of have to take advantage of things while you can, because everything isn't going to last forever. Like, you guys remember last year I sold majority shoes, like majority shoes. That whole time where I was trying to get the money for the house and save for the down payment, it was Ross, Burlington, Marshalls, Adidas outlet, a little bit of Nike outlet, but that was my rotation. And that's when you could get Vapor Max and all types of good shoes, Jordans and Ross and stuff like that. And now it's not like that anymore. And I kind of seen that was coming, so then I went back to the thrift, and now I'm killing it with the thrift. But if something was to change with that, I'll have to make another pivot. So that's just how you got to play it. You just got to kind of play things by ear, and not be afraid to make changes. My Ross has been terrible also. I think they're pretty bad everywhere. I think they're pretty bad everywhere. But the few people I've been following on IG, they're like in LA, and he's been finding crazy clothes, crazy clothes. This is one Jordan jacket that sells for like $300, and I think he found one for like 50 or 60. Stuff that, like, I would probably keep if I found it. He's been finding some good stuff. Things from Target worth reselling. So Goodwill always gets a bunch of Target stuff, and some of it might be worth it, but a lot of their clothing brands, like I think it said like Time and True or something like that. Like, a lot of those Target brands, like Goodfellow, excuse me, that's not necessarily worth reselling, but Target sometimes does collabs with like well-known designers, and those stuff are worth selling. Like, those stuff absolutely are worth selling, but majority of things from Target, probably not. Probably not. I'm so grateful that I do 100% Goodwill now. I save a ton of upfront money now. Yay. That's what's up. And I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Because the thing with Ross and those discount stores, the amount of money you got to spend in order to make some money back is insane. Like, I really leveraged my credit during that time, so my rewards was crazy. Like, I got a lot of money from rewards doing that type of stuff. But now when I go to the thrift, I might hit 4 stores and spend maybe $100, maybe $200. But before, I would spend $200, and that's like 3 shoes, 4 shoes, and I might double up in terms of profit. But it was tough. And then you definitely have to make enough money from your sales every month in order to pay that credit card back off. And that's the best way to really leverage it, so you're not paying any interest. So it had its stressful times, but I mean, I'm definitely grateful for Goodwill right now too, for sure. I was spending 300 to 500 daily at Ross. Now I spend 60 per day. See, that's crazy. That's a win. That's a huge win. Because when it comes to business, the whole goal is to maximize profit and then lower your expenses. Like, that's literally the goal of every single business model. How can we get a larger ROI, and how can we spend less money? How can we cut corners on this? All those types of things is the foundation of business. So if you could do that, you're gonna win. Thrifting is the best. Absolutely. I agree. I agree. I think yard sales, depending on what area you're in, could trump thrifting. But I know for me, I haven't been able to do that yet. Like some people, they swear by yard sales and garage sales because they enjoy that back and forth. They enjoy the negotiation. They enjoy the how much you got for that? $5? Would you take three? It's like, bro, pay the $5. Like, Jesus. Like that's the stuff that pisses me off. But some people, they love it. They love it. I definitely don't factor in the time I spend on making sure items are something that I would purchase as it relates to cleaning, shaving, and making sure I'm sending out quality merchandise. Yeah, you got to factor that in. You have to factor that in. And I think when you're just getting started, it's tough to factor that in because, everything is hard work, everything is a learning lesson. So you kind of have to do that. You kind of just have to do the work and just be busy in the beginning so that you can build up some momentum. But as you get a little more seasoned and you start to learn a little more about business overall, you realize that, you know, if your time is involved, you have to factor that in. Like this one quote that I seen, and not even a quote, it was an interview. The guy was saying anything that requires physical labor, there's a cap to it. So people that do that trucking, I know trucking's like a popular industry where people can make a lot of money in a relatively short amount of time. But you got to think they're driving, 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day. They're hauling big, heavy stuff in and out of the truck. So it's hard labor. So anything that involves physical labor is going to have a cap to it. So the goal is to, you know, kind of figure out how you can lower your labor and increase your, profitability. So I know for anything, thrifting, anything physical, there's a cap to it, and there's a shelf life to it. I know I'm not going to be doing this every day, for until I'm retirement age, because I probably will never retire. But I know I'll probably continue like thrifting on the side for fun. But this would never be like I won't be doing this in my 50s full time. Absolutely not. I'll be too tired and old for that. Now, let me see. I've been eating heavy in the stock market. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm trying to get back to checking out stocks. I think I've pulled a lot of money out of the market because right now the markets is kind of crazy, real volatile. But since my goal is to pay off my student loan debt, I wanted to really like put that cash towards that instead of trying to do a little bit of investing and a little bit of debt repayment. The way how my mind is set up, I'm like, okay, debt repayment, we're all in. We'll come back to the stocks later on. When maybe when the stocks start to drop and prices fall, once my debt is down, that'll probably give me an opportunity to start investing there. But I don't think it's I'm not a financial advisor, but personal opinion, I don't think it's wise to try to invest and save and pay debt and do all these different things. You kind of have to like limit yourself and just be more, word of the day, be more intentional, you know. Have you ran into any eBay scammers lately? Yeah, all the time, all the time. It's and the thing is, I remember at one point I was anytime a scam happened, I would be like, oh, this is good YouTube content. But I stopped thinking like that maybe since like March of this year. I stopped thinking like that because the scams happen at least once a month. Somebody would say, oh, this item is broken, or this item doesn't work, or whatever, or you didn't ship this out, or whatever. They'll try it. But after a while, I just realized scammers are going to scam. That's what they do. You know, majority of the time, 9 times out of 10, eBay's not going to side with me. So once you kind of recognize that, you just take those small L's. My thing is, as long as those small L's don't necessarily outweigh the overall profits for the month or for the year, as I should say, it really just part of the game. The more money you make, you realize the more little scams, like not even the more money, the more transactions you do. Like this month, I'm right around like 250 sales, like individual items that I shipped out. Out of that 250, it was probably 3 or 4 people that was like, oh, this doesn't work or this doesn't work or whatever try little scam they'll try to do. but you just, chalk it up. Chalk it up to the game. What was your major in college and what made you start the reselling journey? Oh, that's a really good question. I don't even know if I ever spoke about this on the channel before. So, my major in college was criminal justice. And then my junior year in college, I was like, I don't necessarily want to lock people up. I don't want to be at the time I wanted to be either a corrections. No, I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal because I met a guy at like a career fair, and he was young, he was black, he was cool. I was like, okay, I could do that too. So I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal. My junior year, I was like, I don't necessarily want to do that. I started reading more, and I'm like, this ain't really for me. So then I was gonna switch my major, but I was gonna get pushed back. Like I was gonna have to stay another year. So I was like, let's just finish this major and I'm gonna go back to school, get a master's. Because at that time, and I think they still do it, but EOP, the Educational Opportunity Program, they pay for your grad program as long as you did well in undergrad. So I think the requirement was just like, as long as you graduate with a 3.0, you'd be fine. So I believe I graduated with like a 3.3. Yeah, I think it was like a 3.3. So I qualified to get, my graduate school stuff paid off. And that's what I did. I went straight back to school. I graduated with criminal justice in 2011 and I graduated with my master's in 2013. Went straight back and I did that. My master's was in higher education and student affairs administration. And I did that because I love the whole college, like the college environment. Like that's what I was really around a lot. But I realized that, it was something I was good at, like connecting with students and connecting with just people. I was good at that. So I figured, why not? Let me just do that. And I got into reselling because my last job when I was working in California, that was just a terrible situation for me. Like that job gave me anxiety. I was stressed out. I was getting fat. Like it was just a bad time. Like I was just growing my hair, so my hair looked crazy. Like everything just looked downhill. It was bad. So I ended up quitting that job. And in the middle of trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life, like how am I still going to pay bills and all these things, I just was like, okay, let me just start selling stuff because I had a ton of suits. I had like maybe maybe 15, 16 suits that was like high quality suit supply, Xenia. I even had some like Armani. Like I had some dope suits. I had some not Armani, Ralph Lauren Purple Label. Like I had some really high quality stuff. Like that's where the whole DapperAdvisor name came from because I used to spend a lot of money on clothes. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just start selling my clothes. And from there, I started selling. I was trying to figure out where can I get more stuff that I have. So I went down the rabbit hole, went through YouTube. People was talking about garage sales and thrift stores, and I just started doing it. And every time we kept moving from city to city, from city to city, state to state, I just kept I just kept doing it. But now that we've like settled down and we're in a better situation, now I'm like, I don't know how long I'm gonna do this to this extent. Cause now I'm kind of not over it, but just ready to do something different. Perfect segue. How is the wine business going? The wine business is doing very well. We're doing a Black Friday sale. I think we're gonna end it maybe the first week of December. I forgot how long we're gonna run the sale, but for those of you that don't know, my wife and I started a wine business in 2019, and we launched in August. We launched like 2 weeks before my daughter was born. So it, we've been doing pretty well. Been doing pretty well. The sales from Black Friday sale between this weekend has been really solid. I know this is Small Business Saturday, so we've been getting some good support from mainly from family and friends. But it's been good. I think it's one of those things where it's like a long term play. I think the fact that I've been doing reselling for the past almost 5 years now, I have a solid foundation with reselling and what I'm doing. But I'm gonna take the next, I'm investing money, I'm investing time into learning marketing because the difference is when you're running your own business, your own label, your own brand, you realize how expensive marketing is, how expensive attention is, because eBay does it for you. eBay itself is a well-known brand. People go to eBay in search of stuff, and then you're only selling items. Well, I only sell items that already has a good brand. Like I'll sell Sony, I'll sell, Dymo, I'll sell these big brands that people are looking for. But when you're selling something that people aren't familiar with, you have to, constantly put it in their face and constantly give tastings and be available, So that's gonna be the next journey, the next step into entrepreneurship. We're gonna build it up so that Sage can have something you know, to do to run when she gets older. She can have more options, because I know reselling isn't for everybody, and most people don't care about it that much to be excited about doing it. And if I had a plug to say I had my own connections to like get items sent to me, I might have been able to transfer a business like that over, and she could take something like this over. But as of right now, I'm literally just hustling where I'm getting stuff however I can get it. So I think the wine business would be something good for her to transition into as she gets older, and you know, and that's honestly my wife's passion. Like her passion is wine, her passion is event planning, her passion is bringing people together. So I know she gonna run it up. We gonna run it up. What is the most you made in 1 year reselling, if not too personal? Last question. The most so far was about 120,000. That's been the most so far. And I could say that comfortably because I know this year is going to be bigger. It's going to be bigger and better. Even with the months I took off, the months I slowed down, this month was really good. So, I mean, this year as a whole has been really good. So it's a blessing. And I attribute it to one, just really like trying to get better at it, because the turnover rate in reselling is huge. 1 minute you see somebody trying to get into reselling, and in the next minute you'd see somebody, oh, I'm not doing it no more, I'm selling my entire inventory, I'm done with this. So it's tough in this aspect of like, that it's tough. But for me, I'm stubborn like that. Like when the going gets tough, I just really bear down and get with it. And every time it's got tough and I said, oh, I'm not doing this no more, I'm gonna just go get a job, every single time I just stuck with it. And now I'm like, I purchased my first home, bought my wife a new car. Like the comfortability of running a successful business, I'm starting to see those fruits now. But first couple of years, I think it was like 25,000, and then the next was like 42, and the next was like 80. And like it's been a hell of a journey, but making it do what it do. How has Alibaba worked for you? So lately, I was gonna go on Alibaba. My wife was just on there, and we were gonna order some samples so that we can start to, sell other items to accompany the wine, right? So I thought of Alibaba, and I'm saying, okay, let me look into this. We looked at the cost of shipping for one wine glass, a sample wine glass. It was $72 for one wine glass. So in a nutshell, Alibaba has not worked for me lately. I don't know. I don't know if it's for the cost of shipping or what. I don't know. But I'm gonna just leave that alone for now. Wow, congratulations. Oh, you must be talking about the money. But yeah, thank you very much. Like I said, it's been a hell of a journey. It's been real tough. But like I said, if you stick with it, and that's the thing, that the reason why I could even say if you stick with it, you would make it, is because everybody that I've seen that's successful in reselling, very, very rarely do people, oh yeah, I did reselling for a year and I made $200,000. It was so easy. Like, no, like hell no. Like this is not easy. And nobody really says that. And if they do say they made 200,000, it's so easy, that's what their gross sales were, and their profit was probably $20,000, if that. Because that's a big thing too. People will brag about sales and their profit is dirt. So don't get caught up in the hype, y'all. Do not get caught up in the hype. Oh, man said, how has Alibaba worked? I don't know what that shipping is about. I don't know if it's because so much stuff is sitting out on boats right now and in ports. I don't know, but that cost of shipping was crazy. Crazy. What's your least favorite part of the reselling journey? Least favorite? Probably just the scammers, because it's they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they know the system. Like that's the piece. Like they know the system so well that they know 9 times out of 10 eBay's gonna side with them. So my thing is, I just try to, chalk it up to the game. But I also know that at the end of the day, like by putting out good energy and, doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm still going to win. So I just try to keep that mentality. But that is definitely my least favorite part. And then, I mean, my favorite part used to be the sourcing, but since I had my daughter, I don't even like leaving the house and having to run around that much to source. So, I mean, it's still fun because it's exciting. Like, that's the exciting part. But my least favorite is absolutely the scammers. Did you have family in sales before you? No. Well, yes, because so my mom, she ran a store. She used to sell clothes back in the day. She had a boutique, so she used to sell clothes, and that was her thing. But she did that before I was born, so I never really seen her like do her thing in the sense of like sell an item to somebody or negotiate with somebody. Like I've never seen her in action, but she told me about it. Like she used to say how much she enjoyed it and all those types of stuff. But like I said, she used to sell clothes when I think she was like in her 30s or maybe her 20s, and she was just making clothes, selling clothes. She would go to so she's from Trinidad, so she would go to like where did she say she went? Like Puerto Rico. Like she would go and source for dresses and like all types of fabrics and stuff, and then she would come back and make it. I think she was saying like Turks and Caicos or something like that. Some island she would go to source. So I mean, I guess you could kind of say it's in you, genetic somewhat. But yeah, she did her thing. But I think the funny thing is when it comes to sales, when I was younger, I used to look down on salesmen because I always would think, oh man, you're in sales. Oh, yeah, that's like predatory. Like you're a scammer or you're always trying to, get over on somebody. But when it comes down to it, sales is the is one of for one, it's cliche, everybody says it, but everybody's a salesman to some degree. Everybody has like trying to sell something, whether it's selling themselves, trying to sell, attention, trying to sell, whatever it is. Everybody's a salesman. But what I've noticed is that it's one of the few industries where you can make a lot of money. But I think, at least in my community when I was growing up, we never really seen it like that. We would look at it like, oh, you're a salesman, you're what they call it snake oil salesman or a car salesman. So you would look down on them, but depending on what you're selling, you could make more money than physicians and surgeons and doctors and lawyers. If you in sales, like you could kill it. So that's what I'm trying to be at. What's the best slash worst part of eBay's consistency about copyright infringement? This is a good question. I'll probably end the show on that note. The best and worst part of so this is going to be a good story. So I actually got a letter. It was a cease and desist letter from a brand that I used to sell tons of. And I'm probably not going to talk about the brand because I don't know if it's still in effect or what. I don't know. But when I got that, it's like I got a warning at first. And I called eBay and they said, "Oh, if there was any concern, we would have sent out the letter to you, or we would have emailed you directly. You would have got a letter from eBay or a message from eBay. So don't worry about it. It's all fine." About 2 months go by. I got the same email again, like basically referencing that they sent us a first one. So they was like, we're serious. It was like a more stern warning. Ignored it again because I'm like, oh, eBay already said, I'm good. I got the last letter was like, it was super formal. They sent it to every email address that I have on file. They sent it to they sent it to every email address, and they was like, this is a formal cease and desist or something like that. And it had all the lawyers' information and everything like that. And I was like, oh, this is real. This is weird. So of course I took the listings down because I had a lot of them in stock. And they basically, the way how it went in a nutshell was that I'm just not like a verified or a verified retailer of that brand. So they don't want me selling it anymore. And this is a big brand. It's a brand I sell a lot of. It's a shoe company. So I was like, oh damn, it's over. So I just took them down, and that's it. I'm gonna see if I can sell them somewhere else, or if I can sell them to somebody that can just buy them in bulk and do their own thing with it. but I just know in the grand scheme of things, it's not worth it for me to risk it, because I'm not about to pay a lawyer and do all those types of stuff. So by that third letter they sent me, like, clearly this is real. They sent the lawyer's information, and of course I googled the lawyer to see if that was a real person. Excuse me, seeing their LinkedIn page and everything, and I was like, oh, okay, this is legit. I got that from Mela Luca. Not sure what that is, but yeah, that's about it. That's been my experience with eBay copyright stuff, because that's the thing. Like, just seeing the question again, best and worst part, right? About the eBay's consistency. Sometimes they'll tell you, like, they'll have a whole bunch of stuff on their Referral list, items that you can't sell, but people still sell them, and there's thousands and thousands of listings, but they'll like pick and choose which sellers that they're picking on, that can't sell that particular item. So that's the part that sucks about it. But I think it is a good thing, because if I owned a clothing brand, I absolutely would not want somebody selling my brand on eBay. Like, if you wore it, it's used, it's damaged, whatever, perfectly fine. Go ahead, do your thing. But if I'm a brand, say Mr. Consistency brand is in stores, and Mr. Consistency, I had a sale, and I'm selling them 50% off, and then I see the same item on eBay for the full price that I sold at 50% off, I'm absolutely going to be upset about that. So I see the purpose of it, but you know, it is what it is. It's one of those things you kind of just gotta be aware of and just move along with it. North Face is that way too. If it's new with tags, don't sell it. If it's used, it's okay. Yeah, North Face will definitely flag you. Absolutely. Thankfully, I haven't found anything that was brand new with tags from North Face, but just, I've heard so many people say that, North Face in particular. Um, I'm trying to remember. I think Vori board shorts, VUORI. That was a brand that also sent me like a very similar, like, cease and desist, but it was very, very late. It was very, very late. Very late. It was like, I sold the shorts maybe 6 months ago, and I sold it on Poshmark. And then I got an email on eBay saying you're not allowed to sell this. But I'm like, I don't even have it listed. I've sold this months ago, and I got that recently. So that's another brand, probably not to try to sell brand new with tags, because I definitely got that email. But I mean, and that's the thing. Some people sold it brand new with tags. Some people sell it used. Some people sell it as new other, even though it's a brand new with tags, to kind of throw off the algorithm or whatever it may be. So I don't know. I just try to stay within the rules, because I know this is how I make money. So I'm not trying to mess it up. It's as simple as that. But yeah, man, don't forget to hit that like button for your boy. That definitely goes a long way. Like ATL Flipper said, hit that like button. Stayed on here for about an hour. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'll stick around for a couple seconds and see if any questions come up. But yeah, man, let me see. J Hudda the Great. How you say that? Jahud? Jehu? Let's see. What's a tip you got for someone trying to start a brand or a business? So, best tips I got. You got to know the industry. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. So whether it's clothing, whether it's wine, whatever, whether it's tech, you got to know the industry, because there's going to be certain, you know, not punchlines, but there's going to be certain hot topics and certain things that, people are going to be talking about, referencing about that in the industry. So you have to be more knowledgeable about it, from top to bottom, because when you're first starting out anything, you're going to be the marketer, the shipper, the designer, the everything. You're going to wear a ton of hats in the beginning. So you definitely want to know your industry, know your competition. And the big thing is, I was just watching this one interview. G- Good artists, what did he say? Uh, Good artists copy, great artists steal. And it's simple as that. When it comes to business, everything has been done. So you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel with anything. There's so much advice and free advice out there that you could just Google some stuff and learn everything you need to learn. But it's just about the time. It's the intention. You know what I mean? You have to really put in the time and the effort to get to it. And last but not least, if you're trying to start a business, the way to succeed is just don't quit. When it gets tough, don't quit. Just don't quit, because you could be 2 steps away from huge payday. 2 steps away. You know what I mean? So that's all the tips I got for you. But that's all I got for today. I don't see any more questions. I love the song at the end of the show. It's lit. I'm gonna play it for y'all. I'm gonna play it. No, I'm probably not. I'm probably not gonna have to find it. But let me see if I can pull it up. It's not on my phone. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. So thank you for tuning in. I'm gonna try to do these live shows a little more often for you guys. I'm not gonna promise any days or anything like that, because you guys already know my schedule has been kind of been flipped upside down. But when I find a good day and I'm in a good rhythm, I'm gonna keep doing them consistently again. But found the time today, so I wanted to hop on here. So y'all have a good night. Enjoy the rest of y'all weekend, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.